Welcome to today's episode of History Reborn. Today we discuss historic facts about the Great Depression. Stay tuned. The Great Depression was the most severe economic crisis of the 20th century, affecting countries around the world. It lasted from 1929 to the late 1930s and had a profound impact on millions of people. It began with the stock market crashing on October 29, 1929, known as the Wall Street crash of 1929. Stock prices on the New York Stock Exchange collapsed. Investors lost billions of dollars, causing panic across the financial system. Millions lost their jobs. Unemployment in the United States rose to about 25% by 1933. More than 12 million Americans were unable to find work. Thousands of banks failed. Many banks had invested heavily in stocks or made risky loans. As people rushed to withdraw their savings, thousands of banks closed permanently. The Dust Bowl made things worse. Severe droughts and poor farming practices created the Dust Bowl in the Great Plains. Massive dust storms destroyed farms and forced many families to migrate.
People lived in Hoovervilles. Homeless communities called Hoovervilles sprang up across the United States. They were named after President Herbert Hoover, whom many blamed for the crisis.
In 1933, President Franklin D. Roosevelt launched the New Deal. The program created jobs, regulated banks, and provided aid to struggling Americans.
It affected the entire world. Countries including Germany, United Kingdom, Canada, and Australia suffered major economic declines. International trade fell dramatically.
It influenced world politics. Economic hardship contributed to political instability in several countries.
Historians often cite the Depression as one factor that helped create conditions leading to World War II. Families had to adapt. Many people grew their own food, repaired old clothes, and shared housing with relatives. Children often left school to help support their families. Recovery was slow. The economy improved during the late 1930s, but full recovery did not occur until the massive industrial production associated with World War II.
Now these are interesting facts about the Depression that lasted from 1929 to 1930 that you don't know about. Stay tuned. Between 1929 and 1933, US industrial production fell by nearly 50%. Nearly 9,000 US banks failed during the Depression. Some workers were paid with food or shelter instead of money. Even before the stock market crash, many farmers were struggling because crop prices had fallen after World War I. The crisis inspired famous books such as The Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck. The Great Depression changed how governments manage economies.
Many social welfare programs, banking regulations, and economic policies introduced to influence crisis. The economic crisis did not remain confined to the United States. Children suffered during the Depression. Many children experienced malnutrition and poor health. Some left school early to work and help support their families. Breadlines became common. Thousands of unemployed people stood in long queues called breadlines to receive free food from charities, churches, and local organizations. Entertainment provided escape. Despite economic hardship, people still sought entertainment. Radio became extremely popular, allowing families to enjoy news, music, and dramas at home. Between 1929 and 1933, U.S. gross domestic product fell by nearly 1/3. Industrial output declined sharply, and international trade dropped by more than 60%.
Famous criminals gained notoriety. The Depression era saw increased attention on criminals such as Bonnie Parker and Clyde Barrow. Their crimes were widely reported in newspapers.
Programs under the New Deal included Civilian Conservation Corps, CCC, Works Progress Administration, WP, Social Security Administration. These programs provided jobs and financial assistance to millions. Many families moved in search of work. Thousands left drought-stricken states such as Oklahoma and migrated to California. In 1932, thousands of World War I veterans marched on Washington, demanding early payment of promised bonuses.
The event became known as the Bonus Army. Economists began to argue that governments should take a more active role during economic crises.
As American banks and investors withdrew money from foreign countries, economies across Europe, Latin America, and other regions suffered severe downturns.
The Great Depression lasted roughly a decade, making it one of the longest and deepest economic crises ever experienced by industrialized nations.
Lessons still used today. Modern governments and central banks often study the Great Depression when responding to financial crises.
Some workers earn less than $15 per week. Many families survive by growing vegetables in backyard gardens. Radio ownership increased during the Depression despite widespread poverty.
The unemployment rate in some cities exceeded 50%. The Great Depression remains one of the most important events in modern history.
Hope you enjoyed today's episode. Subscribe, follow, like, and share for more historic contents like this. Bye.